Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And every single week on this podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We'll discuss that news, and of course, anything else we happen to be interested in this week. And this week, we have some great stuff to talk about.
Spider swinging. The end of Goku. Our first look at Shazam. Superhero casting news. The movie trailer showdown and more.
Absolutely, folks. But though we begin our show, though, with geek news. And in Geek News, we're going to begin with, a quick hello from the live chat room.
Hey,
Hans
Hans.
Limo says, sup guys, long time no see. So hey Hans, good to see you too, buddy. Okay, so first story in Geek News is going to be, this is just kind of a weird story I thought were kind of cool. Apparently there's a dude who made Spider-Man's web shooters. He uses like rope that he shoots out of his cufflink thing, and it's very superhero-ish. He has a Kickstarter in which he shows off like a video of him swinging through like this custom made training set with like sandbags that he shoots it into, and then he swings from it.
Cool.
In multiplications, and he calls it Air Ropes, the grappling hook experience. Now he's starting a Kickstarter, but he's not selling the product. He's not getting money to make the thing. He's getting money to expand his obstacle course thing, and then he plans to, like, as give rewards, people to come over to his house and
play with his toys,
play with his web shooters. And so that's what he's actually. His other plan is, of course, to make it a portable structure like you would have at music festivals, so something people can do. I don't know how safe this looks. To me, it looked very. Like, ooh, someone's gonna die. Like they're gonna shoot. They're gonna shoot something. They're gonna shoot like a person
Spiderman
or something. Now in their video, they actually have like the string highlighted in red, so you could see it.
Oh, I was gonna say,
because
that looked
otherwise,
really cool for a second.
because otherwise it's like, oh, it's just a black line that goes through. See, like if you look at the video, we'll show the YouTube clip on the video version of the podcast. And he is really just like shooting and swinging and shooting and swinging. It's like, it's very web shootery Spider-Man. And Hans Chapman says, that looks creepy. It is. I agree with you, man. It's like, but as like an experience, like, oh, maybe like this is something what Marvel would at some point like adapt or buy, like for like their superhero Spider-Man thing that they do. You could also do with like, I guess, regular rope.
Yeah, there's been other characters that they've actually done, especially in the world of DC.
Yeah.
You know how they kind of rival each other, making their versions of the same character. DC, I forgot the name of theirs. They showed it in a Justice League episode. Spider-Man looking-ish character, but he had the whole concept of him launching the quote-unquote webs.
Yeah, there's also like been another scientist who like made Iron Man's like portable like using like rocket engine, like make them float. You see nothing, and that tech is a lot more cool to me. It's also a lot more like murdery, like you just pointed at somebody. All these things are very dangerous. Like we take for granted that superhero stuff is not like really dangerous
in real world situations. Yeah. I've seen a guy make a real both shooting electricity Thor's hammer and the Captain America shield in action.
Murdery.
So
very murdery stuff like that. Like just the one we're talking about. Just point at a person, like you shoot it, and it's more like that what was it called? The video game Mortal Kombat version of like Get Over Here.
Oh,
that's what this reminds me a little more of, like
the ripcord kind of thing, the spear.
Because it really does spear like a sandbag, and then you can then swing from it. So I'm like murder toy.
Yeah, because I thought if it was like a grappling hook thing, that I could understand.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's something that's on the arm though. It looks very much like something that a Deadshot would wear. That kind of like armor weapon thing. But there you go. Something to go fund it if you want to go take a trip to the middle of America and pay like $200 to play with this guy's web shooter.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Next story. Goku's Gone. Well, I should say specifically, the latest version of Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball Super, and the last episode is going to be airing in June of 2015. It debuted in June 2015. It'll end in March of this year. So this month, actually. So it's not too long until like the series is over. And people are like, oh, that's kind of sad. But honestly, it's been going on like way too long. Like I remember watching these Dragon Ball cartoons when I was, I don't know, in my early teens. So it's been at least 20, 30 years since the show's been out. And every show has to end at some point. And this was just like the latest incarnation of this particular series. But there are some slight spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to hear about how the show might end, cover your ears, skip ahead if you want to, so you have fair warning. The title of episode number, what is it? Earth 131, according to Animage, is a miraculous conclusion. Farewell, Goku, until the day we meet again. So Goku apparently is going to die again, I think.
Again.
Not the first time, not the second, probably not even the third or fourth. But the synopsis is basically Goku falls from the arena. As for the Universe's Seven's defeat, everyone was supposed to be annihilated, but it appears the fight isn't over with Goku, who surpassed his limits. Yeah, like that's never happened before. And Jiren turning their eyes towards Zeno, then a death beam into Jiren's back. There is this figure of a battered Universe 7 member. So there you go. That's how the entire series ends. So there you go. But it's I'm surprised they're even still making more. Like I thought that was on Crunchyroll, which is an online anime service that does importation from other anime from other countries and subtitles and puts them on the internet. And so they're there as well if you want to go catch up on them before this show ends.
So what's up? They gave up on the Zenzu beans and getting the dragon to resurrect them anymore?
No, I think it's kind of their default mode of like, oh, everybody got murdered at the end of the Cell thing and the end of the Majin Buu thing. Well, we'll just wait for the Dragon Balls to come back and
everything go back to normal.
That's kind of how they always reset everything, so that all that horrible stuff that happens doesn't quite
do over like an etch-a-sketch.
Yeah, kind of. But every series has to end, so it's kind of sad to see that it goes.
Your call. If they bring him back, they almost gave him almost every color of the rainbow for hair and abilities and stuff. Last thing I saw, he had kind of like a baby blue teal kind of hair.
Oh yeah, that was like one of the new super incarnations of Goku. Like you can kind of see some blue in here maybe, but there's like a Saiyan God mode and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, they gave him red. Of course, he's had gold. Let's see, has probably purple. I don't think they've done purple yet.
Nope. No, I think the gold version is always like, oh, and they're trying to be white. I'm like, oh, that might be what that is. I mean, subconsciously.
Yeah.
That's how they power up. They dye their hair.
Become Caucasian.
Yeah. Okay. Another internet news. We have Black Panther 2 is officially going to be made. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. That movie has made over $1 billion at this point worldwide, so they would be crazy not to do a Black Panther 2. They're also in talks to do some spin-off stuff with other characters within the Wakanda universe, Wakanda landscape. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Kevin Feige said that Wakanda is going to be a huge anchor point for the MCU going forward because Asgard is off the playing field. Asgard is gone. Remember, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, Asgard is destroyed. So, spoiler.
Helena.
Yeah, spoiler. So Wakanda is apparently going to be the new home base for a lot of the Marvel Universe kind of stuff. So there you go.
I want to check it out. My thing is, how much did Avatar make? Like when it was
a lot. I don't know.
Did it hit the billion? The billion
probably
mark?
easy. Yeah.
Oh, because the only reason
it was really big in like Asia and other countries.
Okay, the only reason is because I was thinking and hoping, especially with Black Panther making being a success as much as it is, especially with that kind of money making, if possible, crossing fingers, they'll make a Wakanda land in either one of the Disney parks.
Sure, yeah, I can see that happening, but you got to remember that even with like the really big moneymakers, it takes such a long time to do the planning and get the city approval for any kind of like official addition to like any of the theme parks that it's going to be like 5, 10, 15 years before they do. Like, remember, they had plans for Star Wars Land as soon as they made that purchase.
Yeah.
And that was that 5 years ago? And they're just doing construction now on Star Wars Land.
The major parts.
And Star Wars has made them $5 billion, more than what they paid for it. So it's already in the what is it, black.
Yeah.
And so this being also in the black, get it? No, it's it might take a little while. And this is also a slightly more controversial property, just because it is very non-mainstream power.
I was going to say, I could imagine like the cast members and employees, whatnot, calling all the guests, colonizers, and that kind of treatment.
Oh, and Hans in chat room says they've done pink for Goku. See, there you go.
True. See, they're going down the rainbow.
Yeah, just pick out those colors, whatever's fashionable.
And straight out, they're going to make a rainbow.
Was pink for like the Dragon Ball Z Easter? Is that how they went with that?
Probably.
Yeah, with some nice pastels.
Yeah. So I want to see it happen. If they can make a land, awesome. Sequel. Totally is going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think anybody died. I think there were a lot of people who doubted it was going to do as well as it did. But like anybody who's basically brown or black was like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome because this is like basically this country was never conquered by white people, and that's an amazing thing that just doesn't exist in the world. And for them to be so powerful and just it's like a lot of people were like super excited just to kind of have this positive image of brown people,
people of color, the PC term. But I can't wait to see it. There's plenty of villains out there. There's plenty of comics. I'm so happy for the success of it, and can't wait for more. Just can't wait for more.
Yep. Okay. Now speaking of more great interesting
people
news,
of color,
we have Luke Cage season 2 got announced. It's gonna be out on June 22nd, 2018. So just in a couple months. So we have what is it? April, May, June. Yeah, 3 months from now. Jessica Jones season 2 is out currently on Netflix. Go check that out. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I think I'm on episode number 11 of 13.
I'm slow. I'm catching up.
He's just starting it, so it's a good fun series. But I'm kind of curious. I was hoping that Luke Cage is going to make an appearance in Jessica Jones season 2. He hasn't yet, though, because ultimately we all know that him and Jessica's gonna get together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Hans and Chapman says, "Bless you, thank you, man. May the the Capcom, Marvel, DC, and bless you as well."
And the force be with you.
That's always the trifecta there.
Yeah,
the Great Trinity. But Luke Cage, fun stuff. They in their teaser trailer, they showed him being burnt, being bullet ridden, and he says, "You want to test me? You can't burn me. You can't blast me. You definitely can't break me. You want to test me? Step up. I'm right here." And then someone off camera is saying, "Get paid, black man, get paid." So the inference basically is that this season of Luke Cage is going to start the Heroes for Hire storyline. Maybe just starting off with himself first, but moving into like him and
Mr.
Danny Rand, Iron Fist, the whiny white guy.
Yeah, but that's kind of funny though because he's already a millionaire kid. I'm like, why do you want to hire a millionaire?
I'm like, how about you just like donate to the cause, bro?
Exactly.
I'm like,
he made a point, especially in the first season of the Defenders. Like, dude, you had the money. You could have been helping out everybody a long time ago.
Your superpower is billions of dollars, man. Like, you could do a lot more than the rest of us combined.
Exactly. But we'll see how it turns out.
But maybe he puts it all. He like gives it all up. He donates it to whatever to do on its own. That could be the route that they're going with this particular storyline. Then he's street level superhero again,
starting from scratch.
He's kind of earning his stripes. Because Danny Rand initially is like he comes from money, but at the same time, a lot of his life was lived as a monk. So like poverty is not a new thing for him.
Yeah,
but he's still
possessions or any of that stuff.
So I don't think he'll have an issue with it. It's just he technically is a millionaire rich white guy, and so that makes his whining annoying to like everybody else.
Yeah. Like really, dude?
That's why Bruce Wayne is broody and not whiny. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm going to spend this money. I'm gonna like kill some folks or like use my beta rings and like also do charity work though.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We also have our first look at some of the images from Shazam, the new movie coming out with Zach Levi as Shazam. He looks. Honestly, I think they dyed his hair too black.
The hair, muscle suit, because that's not all him. That's not all him.
I don't know. I mean, like I see muscles here on the side of his arm.
The dead giveaway though is especially where the chest emblem shoulder and stuff like that. Yeah. It's chest pad, shoulder pad. That's not all him.
I don't know. I can't say for sure. He's been working out, but he's kind of a thin dude. Yeah. He's not normally a muscly man, but at the same time, neither was Wolverine when he first started. I remember going from Wolverine 1 to like the end one. He definitely bulked out a lot, and just over the course of like multiple years of like just putting on weight, putting on like muscle. It just people can do it. I mean, you look at Captain America, same deal. He's not necessarily like the biggest guy before he started within that franchise, but he worked out. Same thing with like Thor. Thor's not always as big and buff as he looks. Like he has to go through a legitimate like workout regimen to get all that mass.
You know who's not going to need a bodysuit in that movie?
The kids.
The Rock.
Oh yeah, because
that's all natural, baby.
Well, they said The Rock's not in the movie, but he's probably gonna make a cameo at the very end. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, the whole Shazam thing is for the Black Adam. It's not a thing on its own. Like The Rock is basically carrying this entire franchise.
He is.
He's the anchor point, and they're just like, oh, we got to do a Shazam movie to get to Black Adam. Exactly. So let's just get that out of the way.
The Rock's a moneymaker?
Zach Levi, okay, let's put you in this, you buddy.
Yeah.
But either way, like there's a lot more famous people who are doing the superhero thing because they realize, oh, that's some serious bank.
Especially with the color on it, unless they want to go the Batman Superman approach and make it all dark and broody, in post.
No, I'm okay with the color. Like I am. I'm generally okay.
It looks very 70s though.
Shazam on his own is supposed to be kind of a idealized version of a superhero. Yeah. Because it comes from a child's imagination.
That's true.
So that the color scheme absolutely makes sense. And in these pictures, you see him going up against what's his name, Dr. Savannah.
And it is, I like they gave him the combination cape/hood.
Yeah.
So it's semi kind of modern, and they didn't.
Well, no, the hood thing was definitely an addition from the New 52 when they relaunched that whole universe.
Yeah.
They added a hood to make him a little more urban, I guess, because the kid comes from a really poor family, and he's one of like a bunch of like foster kids.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense as far as like that character goes.
That's true.
So there you go. So great stuff. On to our next story. Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill finally got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It happened this past Thursday. And a lot of people showed up, including some of his Star Wars family, including Rian Johnson, Kelly Marie Tran, Bill Lord, Lucasfilm's president, and of course George Lucas and Harrison Ford. They all showed up and they said nice things about him on his behalf, emphasizing how good of an actor he's been.
I got a couple friends that actually went to the what would you call it?
Ceremony.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Good. How'd that go for them?
It was cool for everything, especially once they revealed the star. I felt like R2 was a little bit of a stealing Luke's thunder.
Well, yeah,
they kind of forced him into the shot, you know.
Yeah, they also had like Star Troopers in the background, I believe. So it was very much like a Star Wars themed kind of thing, which makes sense because you got to wonder who's paying for that star. It's not free.
Well, it's
like you have to pay for it yourself.
And that star is in front of the El Capitan Theater, which is owned by Disney.
That's the expensive one. Yep.
There you go. Other cool part about it is, especially during his speech, he ended his speech with the Joker laugh, which made it really awesome for,
It's like, I'm not just Luke Skywalker.
Exactly. So I'm glad to see that everybody's there, and he did acknowledge, Carrie Fisher on it. So it's good to get everything almost like a complete circle for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hans in the time says he doesn't like the padding on that Shazam suit. I'm hoping it's all muscle. I'm hoping at some point he just takes off his shirt
and show that it's legit.
He's just like, oh, he bulked out. He did the work.
He better, because if not, it's just
it's kind of sad. It really is. Especially, I mean, movie magic makes it look realistic, I guess.
Like, there's a difference between Captain America.
We're past the age where you can find dudes who are big who are willing to put on the bulk and to work out a ton. So it's actually them. Like, we don't need padded suits anymore. This kind of stuff honestly makes me nervous, in that we're veering more towards the Batman and Robin version of like superheroes, like with Arnold Schwarzenegger and his outfit, and Two-Face who just looks so cartoony, and it's over the top cartoony stuff instead of like just being free. I'm like, and a lot of that is just like the artifice of like, oh, you need all these special props to make this super. I'm like, you don't necessarily need them. Which
I love. It's kind of both a pro and a con, because obviously it's a big body image for guys to look all ripped up and everything, like shirtless all the time.
His comparison is always going to be Superman, and Superman does not wear a padded suit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you don't necessarily need the pads and the extra little bits of muscle. Like, just bulk out, man. Like, or find somebody who fits the image. I mean, there's a lot of actors in Hollywood who can do this character. It's not. This is not Shakespeare. I mean, Shazam is not Shakespeare. He's essentially a kid in an adult superhero body. So like, his dialogue is not going to be like super insightful.
Yeah, it's almost like big but cooler.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a thing. It definitely has some interesting story opportunities, but I'm not cool with I'm really just not cool with like the extra like artifice of like he needs a padded suit.
It's better than those like the padded suit is bad enough, but I'm just glad they didn't do those like really bad lined armor. So make it like a chest plate,
like the Batman armor.
Yeah, and especially the 6-pack.
Yeah,
chest pad. For apparent reason, you need a 6-pack.
No, just work it out, man.
Do a sit up, man.
Ask Thor what his regimen is. Go ask Hugh Jackman.
Sit-ups, push-ups, and eat some meat, man.
For reals. Okay. On to our next story. We have this one's about Dune. Dune's director Denis Villeneuve, who's known more recently for his work on Arrival and Blade Runner 2049. He's been slated to make the next Dune movie. And according to his recent comments, speaking at Rendezvous de Cinéma, Quebec. He said that Frank Herbert's 1965 science fiction novel will take about 2 years to make, and will actually make multiple films, maybe more. So at least 2, maybe 3. And that to me is great, because the Dune series of novels is like, I think 6 books deep, and the first 3 are just with him first main character. Paul Atreides, and like his kind of kids, and then get it's like super weird. Like it jumps ahead like I think 2,000 years or something. But they're all really good science fiction, and so it makes sense that you would need maybe multiple movies to tell the story very well. And it's one of those beloved classic science fiction novels, and for it to be adapted correctly into like a movie, I think 2 movies at least is a good play, because the Sci-Fi Channel did a version of this, and it was a miniseries of like I think 4 or 5 or 6 episodes of like 2 or 3 hours long, and there was like really quite a good adaptation.
Yeah, I don't want to say they tried to rival, but it was kind of like the alternative to Star Wars, not Star Trek, but Star Wars in a way, and in a weird kind of futuristic kind of deal.
Not.
But I've seen it. I've seen the original version. It didn't grab me as much as
it's a slightly older film, and again, it's more hardcore science fiction. It's not very pew pew space battles. It's very much about a metaphor for like conflicts about oil and like industrialization versus like working with native resources and bucking the system to build a better tomorrow, and a bunch of other like commentary on social constructs and resource management and other things like that, social stuff. Though it's a little higher brain function than just like space battles, Star Wars, lightsabers. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that it is kind of a deeper novel, and some people like that kind of stuff, and some people it just doesn't work for them, and that's cool.
Just checking out for the next story.
Yeah, Vin. We got a story on Vin Diesel for our next story here. According to the Hollywood Reporter, I think it is, Sony has officially cast Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel as the title star for Bloodshot, the film adaptation of the popular comic book from Valiant Entertainment. I honestly didn't know who Bloodshot was. I had to look him up. Like, I don't think I've ever read a Valiant comic.
Is it one of the Valiant?
Yep,
yeah, Valiant comics. Valiant.
Yeah, it's one of those. It was one of those indie comics. This is the synopsis from online. Bloodshot is a former soldier with powers of regeneration and metamorphing made possible through nanites injected into his blood. After having his memory wiped numerous times, Bloodshot is out to discover who he really is and get vengeance on those who did this to him. Bloodshot's bloodstream contains 1 billion nanocomputers, enabling to heal quickly from his injuries, interface with technology, and shapeshift his mass, which doesn't say anything to me, but okay. Apparently, the film was supposed to have a tone similar to RoboCop, The Terminator, and Total Recall, which sounds kind of promising. But it definitely is a Sony Picture film. They're hoping to have principal photography done by July, but no release date at this point.
Yeah, if I'm right, I think they were trying to cast other people. I'm trying to read over because I swear they had either Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger, him and somebody else. I'm just trying to look over to double check because I don't want to just make up stories. Because his character, it's.
So, do you know who Bloodshot is?
From reading the Valiant comics, he's pretty much Valiant comics version of the combination of like the Punisher, Deadpool without the jokes.
Right. I was thinking like Jason Bourne and the Punisher.
There you go.
With the healing factor of like Deadpool, obviously, except he's a better looking character, but definitely like a darker, murdery kind of vigilante hero with like some Jason Bourne like memory loss issues. That's what I was thinking of when I read this synopsis. I was like, oh, this kind of sounds familiar with like a lot of other intellectual properties. So it makes sense that somebody would kind of combine them all. It's just, nanites.
Yeah, so they did use Jason David Frank. So let's see, I'll just throw up a little picture here.
He was supposed to be like possibly cast as the character, you mean?
Yeah, they did a couple equivalent to B movies because I'm sorry, he's a B movie character in the comic book world.
He's definitely Marvel or DC, and Valiant Comics is. But there's a lot of stuff apparently in Valiant Comics that Sony purchased. Like they purchased the entire intellectual property license.
Yeah, even Dark Horse and some other ones. Like one series that's kind of like an indie popular one is like Lady Death.
Yeah,
Lady Death. She did have a cartoon series and some others before, but I don't know if they'll ever will bring her into a live action kind of a movie, and she would be amazing.
I think they tried. I think there's a live action like B version of Lady Death out there, where it's just some chesty girl in white paint and throwing whips around and saying cheesy lines.
Yeah.
But you can always check that stuff out. Okay. So that's some more news. Let's see what else we got. Oh, more casting news. Wonder Woman Patty Jenkins announced recently that Kristen Wiig will be in the next Wonder Woman movie as Cheetah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's going to be the villain. Now, the thing is, a lot of people were guessing, so is this going to be a serious role? She's going to be like, straight face kind of lady? Because Kristen Wiig's a comedian.
Do you remember how Peter Pan, how Robin Williams was in Peter Pan, right? The movie as in Hook, and he kind of rode the fine line between goofy, funny guy and like serious character acting. I'm pretty sure that's how they're going to go with this particular character, because I don't remember that particular character being very humorous and comedy driven. That character is very serious, and I'm almost thinking like, oh, it's going to be like Poison Ivy and that Batman movie again, like
something like
where it's
that.
like it's kind of this weird,
maybe a joke here and there,
like funny person trying to be serious, with like some weird one-liners. And I really hope it isn't, because I hate to go back to that age of like where you don't take these movies seriously because they feel childish for some reason.
My thing is I want to see her athletic ability, because Cheetah is limber. She backflips. She jumps out.
They're not going to make Kristen Wiig get into shape.
Yeah.
No way.
I would be amazed. So just hopefully
like she got this role because of her name, not because of her athletic ability.
Yeah, I'll give you on that.
I'm not saying she's a bad actress anyway.
Now,
I'm saying that she's not the athletic type. She's not Ronda Rousey, who's like taking the role for like, oh, she can do all the stunts, she can do all the work, she has the physique and the character.
So what do you think? Bad prosthetics or just CG pretty much character?
I'm thinking her powers, any action scene is going to be CG. Like any of the flips and like outrageous, like running across walls. Maybe in some of the action stuff is going to be a heavy CG,
like
especially because of the fur,
exactly.
because of like all the paint.
A hardcore Catwoman.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's unfortunately just the way the character is going to go.
I got a feeling she's going to be the next thing for a lot of furry fans.
Oh, I got in trouble, I tell you, with the furry community. Yeah, I did.
On your other thing or this one here?
On the other thing. Like, I was doing a thing with a buddy of mine, Drinking with Charles, where we basically drink and we talk about whatever, and then we'll play some games. That's when I part of that Cards Humanity for me to play that with him. And some other people in the liturgy community. And the conversation at one point went towards furries. Okay. Like somebody in the audience, I forget
happened to be what a furry?
It was. He had mentioned it, like, oh, like someone in chat room on Google Hangout was like, oh, something about furries, like they like this thing. And I was like, oh, and so he was like, what's a furry? And I'm like, oh, it's this thing. And I implied like there was a sexual component to it. And apparently because he popped up in chat, like other people in the community were like, oh, we know. He did like a report on us or something at some point, and they're like, oh, we're so offended that you implied that there's a sexual component towards that particular interest. And they're like, no, it's just mostly people who like to dress up as anthropomorphized animals and do things. So I'm like, I know there's a sex thing for some people, and they're like,
not just a fury. It's pretty much cosplay fucking.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
But it was like they got mad that I implied that it was for that the component for it was like, oh, for everyone. Like, no, there's a subset of people definitely who are into the sex part for it. But that they didn't like my implication that it was.
Oh hell, I'll put it on Front Street, especially those ones that get the little adaptation, so you look like it's pretty much when you have the holes in the right places, not just to use the restroom. And like,
that's fine. But, I'm like, I understand that it's not that thing for everybody, and I'm like, okay, I'm apologize for misstating. An assumption or just bad information. But they did apparently like send. Because it was his YouTube channel. They sent him like 6 or 7 messages from different people who like made the same complaint. So I was like, oh, well, sorry, buddy.
Oh, well.
Not my channel.
I got nothing against him. Hell, I'll rock the suit and everything. If you want me to.
I wasn't making judgments. I was just like, oh, I thought that's what that was. It was like specifically like, oh, partially kind of this fetishy thing. And for some people it is, but not everybody. Yeah. Apparently.
I got to admit, the artwork of it, like, the drawing stuff always interested me, but it's when it gets sexualized and then it's like, oh, really?
Like a lot of cosplay also has a sexual element for people, like, because
the exposed skin and everything.
As young people get exposed to our first like sexualization of men and women that way, and so there is much a component for that kind of stuff as well.
Kind of like the a la joke in the scene in Wayne's World when they're sitting on top of the hood. He's like, "Did you ever think of Bugs Bunny as attractive when he dresses up as a girl bunny?" And he's like, no. He's like, me either. Yeah.
It's just, that's the way things are sometimes. So there you go.
Lola Bunny's hot.
Slight furry. SARS. Okay. Next story. More casting stuff. We've been talking about Magnum PI for the last few weeks with all the different castings and going very ethnic. Like the main character being a Hispanic guy, Jay Hernandez, who you might remember from Suicide Squad as El Diablo.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've also cast Lady Higgins.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a Lady Higgins.
Yes.
This is her. It's going to be a girl. So Higgins, the butler from the original Magnum PI, is now going to be a lady.
Oh, it's going to be all about
Butler,
sexual tension
I guess?
between them.
I don't know.
No, they're going to try to.
Right,
like,
they're definitely going to
story.
recreate that sexual tension between Higgins and Magnum without it.
Just like the original.
They didn't call him Magnum for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Yep.
Glock.
So there you
Rhymes
go.
with, yeah.
Okay. Next is this was kind of a troubling story for a lot of the. This was a couple weeks old because we missed last week. But James Gunn broke the internet when he told the world basically that the Guardians of the Galaxy character, Baby Groot, is not original Groot. He's actually the son of original Groot.
What?
This is not just a reincarnation of the character who retains all his memories, but in fact, this is actually Groot's son, and so original Groot is dead. And the internet did not enjoy that particular fact, especially considering that it conflicts with the comics in quite a bit of ways, and that comic Groot can come back from anything. Like he as long as a shred of him is around, he can regenerate.
I didn't like the comic Groot look. He looked like a horse skull or like a deer skull.
That was also
looking.
very much an opportunity to create different tree faces for this character and to do different things because trees provide an opportunity to do non-human anatomy, and so there's a lot of weird things artists could do with that character. So I get what you're saying, but I mean that's a very big difference between the two different universes. Like comic Groot is essentially immortal, and this one is like, oh, he dies every time, and it's just his kid coming back. I'm like, oh, that's sad.
The part that was kind of a joke too is like, okay, especially if you watch the original Guardians, he was literally broken into a bunch of sticks, and Rocket decided to grab that one and just plant it in a little pot, and you don't know what part of Groot that is. That could have been his dick the whole time.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep. See that wiggly flower
rod.
part? Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. The flowers are the sexual organs of a plant.
And there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So I can see it. You know, it's pretty much the way you reproduce. It's just making copies of each other. It's the way you kind of live.
But at the same point, that means like, oh, for new generations to come, they have to die. I'm like, that's a very interesting reproductive cycle, especially considering that's not what actual nature does.
That's what we do.
No, we don't. No, to have a child, we don't have to die. Like we don't die, and then like a kid comes out of us.
Oh, that version.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that version. Okay, that part I understand.
I'm like, we die so that the rest of our species can continue to grow without overpopulation. But like in this particular instance, like, oh, for this species to continue on, for every new child, the original host has to die. You know what I mean? So it's always like a 1-for-1 population, and it just doesn't seem sustainable because what happens if like, oh, a whole swath of these things just is set off somewhere where they can't reproduce, like they're in space, they get sent to the sun or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like a fish spawning in a way because they had to die off in order to reproduce because that's their whole life.
Not the same. Not the same thing either. No, because even a fish has multiple eggs. You know what I mean? And so they don't technically have to die.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Nah,
like,
I understand.
I'm like, so during the reproduction, the only way that this species seems to be is like, oh, dad has to die, and upon his death, oh, then a new child comes out.
Okay, that part I totally understand.
And I'm like, that seems weird and sad. So there you go. Okay, more news that's not geeky, I guess, or too much. Apparently, they're going to be making a Silver Surfer movie, another one. Yeah, so Fox is expanding its slate of Marvel tie-ins apparently, and so they're talking to Marvel to actually make access to the Silver Surfer and possibly even Galactus. So interesting stuff. There's also reports in a Doctor Doom solo movie, which we've heard about for quite a long time. So there you go.
So what would you rather see, a Silver Surfer movie or Doctor Doom?
Doom, absolutely hands on. A solo Doctor Doom film where you actually get to see him being kind of cool instead of just like, oh, he's the foil for the cool people who kind of really suck.
What was the name of his land?
I'm going to say Wachovia, wasn't it?
Sounds right.
Yeah, because I mean they kind of pulled that place from. I mean, the Wachovia we're used to is the one from the Age of Ultron.
There you go.
But I want to say it was something like that, where like he had his own independent kingdom where he had all his people
And the Doombots.
and the Doombots, and that's how he kind of policed everything. But he was an independent ruling nation, and it was definitely I'll say a monarchy or tyranny, whatever it was. But he was the ruler, and in all the other versions I've ever seen, it's like, oh, Doom is just a dude who kind of has powers, but he's always sucks compared to like the other characters. And I think it's always been a loss. Like if you want good superhero stories, you need good, powerful villains with their own empathetic motivations.
Totally get that. Because did you ever watch the Silver Surfer cartoon series that came out on Fox?
No, I recall the Silver Surfer being in like some of the X-Men movies and some of the Fantastic Four animated shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't recall like a Silver Surfer independent like space buddy thing.
It was, and sadly, it didn't grab my interest as much. I was more interested in all the other characters that got introduced into it other than himself. But that was it. So, new movies, sir.
Yep. On to our movie trailer showdown. Kind of the end of the show. Thanks, Ryan, for the geek news stuff and for commenting on the show. We have 5 new movie trailers we thought were kind of cool, including Christopher Robin, Roseanne, Lost in Space, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2, and also Fahrenheit 451. You might have seen some of these trailers, you might not. We're going to be with Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin is a Disney film, and it's Winnie the Pooh. It's the boy from Winnie the Pooh. So it's a very interesting trailer. Yeah, basically that character, all grown up. He's in Britain. He has a family, and things are going to heck. And he finds solace in his imaginary friend, or possibly not so imaginary friend, Mr. Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm. So, you ever read the original and saw the sketch mock-ups of him? Winnie the Pooh?
Oh, like the original book version of this?
Yeah, because he was a pretty tattered...
And this character kind of looks like that character more than the Disney version.
Yeah, the fluffy, round, yellow bear with the little shirt and everything like that. So, of course, as much as everybody loves Pooh, I can only imagine how many people want to see Tigger and all the other characters.
Well, yeah, this one kind of reminds me of like Paddington Bear.
Very.
What was the one with the other kind of bear? Remember the one with Seth?
Ted.
Ted, yeah. It was kind of like this is an English TED version of it.
The G-rated, the one that everybody can watch and not worry about him saying anything naughty.
And Hans in the chat says, The Deception, lol. Assuming he's referring to Groot and Baby Groot. Like, yep. They lied to us. They didn't tell us. We would have been sadder.
I think it's going to do good. I think it's going to be a little tearjerker, at least for Winnie the Pooh.
Definitely something.
But I can't wait for this one, Roseanne.
Yeah, Roseanne is coming back. It's going to be coming out, I want to say... March.
Yeah, and in the trailer itself, it kind of gives you a little bit of the question that everybody had.
Yep, there's Dan. He's alive.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the inside joke says, "I thought you died."
Yeah. And apparently they're going to have both versions of Becky in the.
It's just a matter how they're going to work her in.
Yeah, but honestly, this whole thing it feels very much like Full House.
Yeah, pretty much the Full House. Just it's the one. Oh, look, House,
the grandkids.
They brought him back.
You have all these other family members, and it's very. I don't want to say kooky. It's very like 1990 like sitcom version of this world.
And of course, everybody's going to just cash in for the nostalgia to see who they're going to bring back. There wasn't sure for the rumor about Jonathan and Nikki if they're going to work him back in the storyline or they're going to work him out since of his success with the Big Bang Theory, because he technically married Darlene and they had a kid. Yeah,
that could be a thing. Like I said, it feels a lot like Full House, like that nostalgia based thing. Instead of being a kind of edgy kind of program, which is what the original Roseanne was, it seems a little more like toned down for like what they want. I think audiences want from like the Full House audience.
Yeah.
And the next one is going to be Lost in Space. This is going to be a Netflix original series. It's going to be out April 13th, 2018. We're watching the trailer course in the video version of this, where the family seems to crash land on a particular planet, which is very different from the kind of Planet of the Week series that the original Lost in Space was. So I'm kind of curious to see where this thing goes.
So far, it looks better. Obviously, they had a pretty decent budget because Netflix got that money compared to the Matt LeBlanc version of the Lost in Space. So I don't know. I'm thinking I'll watch an episode, and if it grabs me, of course, I'll watch the rest. But the main thing, especially for the hardcore fans, they want to see Robbie.
Yeah, and they have that in this trailer. You get Robbie the Robot, Danger,
Will Robinson.
Yeah, and so it's he's definitely there. That's a highlight. But I think they're actually going to be not just stuck on the one planet, but actually going to different places. And I could be incorrect. They could just be on that one planet for like a season and it becomes like this survival alien story kind of thing going on. We don't really know, but I really love the way Robbie looks. He looks very much like the characters from Mass Effect, like the I forget what they're called, Revenant or something.
Oh yeah,
but they're basically robot people.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool kind of character outline, and you also notice, of course, that they're being inclusive in this particular series.
Oh yeah,
having all these different ethnicities, so it's hopefully different people can see themselves in the series, and it's not just a bunch of white people.
Yeah.
Hans in the chat room says, sounds like that movie Enemy Mine. I have no idea what he's referring to now, but I'm assuming it's gonna be like the Groot thing or maybe Silver Surfer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that trailer, and again, like the action part, the special effects stuff looks amazing.
What do you think of the ship? It kind of looks like a combination of the Millennium Falcon and the what was it? The Transformer original ship that they landed on.
It looks very. I remember it looking very saucer-like.
Yeah,
and I think that's where they're just going like, oh, this is a nod to the original movies and the movie version of it, where it's like a little more saucerish. Because that also gives you a lot of habitat space for inside interior space shots instead of just being like this one little narrow place, like these little rockets. So I think it's a good move. Oh. It's no more expensive to CGI, basically. Next one is going to be Ralph Breaks the Internet, and this is going to be Wreck-It Ralph 2, where we get the internet. So I already love the introduction portion of it, where it's a rundown arcade. That's a nostalgia bit right there. Like where you have pizza, you have a bunch of kids at the arcade, and it's kind of going out of fashion, and the proprietor is hooking them up to the internet for some reason, but he knows it's popular, so let's do that.
He brings in the broadband.
Yeah. I don't know if it's broadband as much as it is just, I think it's supposed to be still like 80s Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. But it's kind of funny, though, because it did tap into a lot of semi-current things that are happening on. So they talk about everything from mobile gaming to, there was, from the teaser posters that I remember, they talk about like knockoff versions. There you go, IMDb.
Oh, you got how many like
Amazon? The licensing. That was the biggest thing with
this thing. This movie is going to be making money just from like people they're licensing somewhere, because they are not paying to use these things. People are paying them.
Oh yeah,
for product placement.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And so IMDb paid a premium price to get onto this movie.
Get their logo on there.
Yeah.
So
all these pop-up ads. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the eBay. There you go. There's another one. The whole auction thing. I'm wondering, especially as friendly as you like the internet to be, I always wondered about the adult world. How much is they going to try to like really kind of maybe tap and not try to tap?
It's going to be like, oh, there's this like walled off section that they can't get into because they're, not old enough.
Oh yeah, this scene just made it like a little disturbing but funny. It's like a simple little touchscreen game that any kid can play. Like, bunny gets pancakes, kitty gets milkshakes. So here you go. Eat.
Yep, there you go. Just make them that.
And I love Sarah Silverman coming back in this right here.
Oh no.
Oh, struggling.
Obesity rabbit.
And I know we can't play the sound, so if you guys get a chance to watch the trailer, watch it all the way. It's totally worth it. Like, sound.
Rabbit,
and I'll just try to do my own little murder and pop.
There you go.
Realize the girl looks a little bit like Moana.
She does. Yeah.
So probably might be the same.
It's brown Disney character. That's all you can say.
Yeah.
So there you go. Also, as a trailer of the week, it's going to be the Fahrenheit 451, which is again a novel adaptation of the same title, Ray Bradbury's book, which is very famous for its commentary on making things the same and not allowing new ideas into societies. Like that's the whole point of this, is that uniformity is the main goal here, and that everybody's taught the exact same thing, the exact same versions of history, and the exact same knowledge bases, and they have this opportunity to kind of drug themselves up to kind of live through life, and new ideas are penalized, and especially or old ideas. Yeah, and that's in the context of the original version of this book. Books are knowledge. Books are powerful because they convey information to people, and that information, that new ideas, those new ways of thinking make people question reality and the quid pro quo and who's in power and why, and the way the thing works. That's dangerous for a world where you want to be in control. And so firemen aren't people who stop fires, they're people who make fires.
Yeah.
They burn ideas. They're people who create fires and stop people from thinking new things or, promoting ideas.
And so far, Michael B. Jordan has been hitting him out of the park. If you love him in Creed, if you love him in Black Panther, I can't see how you're not going to like him in Fahrenheit.
So we give our 4 runners up with 4 potential clients here. Christopher Robin, Roseanne, Lost in Space, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Fahrenheit 451. Which one was the best for you, man?
I'm only picking Roseanne because there's going to be more episodes, so I want to see Roseanne. But
we have multiple series,
yeah, but Ralph Breaks the Internet is just a sequel.
We have a movie, but we also have like 2 other series here. Fahrenheit 451 is not a movie; it's a series. Apparently, I think
still Roseanne. Okay, and
that's fair.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Okay, and I'm going to go with Lost in Space. And I'm going to go with Fahrenheit 451. The other ones, but Fahrenheit Lost in Space is definitely the one, most because I wanted that movie with Matt LeBlanc to be good. I did.
Yeah.
And then the girl from Party of 5. I'm like, oh, okay, this is that's what it was. I was younger. Don't question me. But Lost in Space always had like this fun family adventure sci-fi thing going on that I was always kind of captivated by. Just as like a sci-fi nerd myself. So I'm like, oh, it's great storytelling potential because you have an infinite universe. You can do a monster week kind of show. You can do like a new, fun, interesting concept every single week, and it won't get boring in the same way that Star Trek doesn't necessarily get boring. It depends on the storytelling, but the opportunities are almost infinite as far as the things you can do. And we have a lot of good sci-fi writers that are popular right now. You think of like Black Mirror. You think of like any of the Star Trek stuff that's been out recently. There's so many good sci-fi writers. Like, why can't they get some of those and do good stuff here?
Totally.
So that was my pick. So there you go, folks. You got your trailers. You got your stories. It's all good. That's it for the show. That's it. We're done. Thanks for listening for the podcast. Thanks for helping support us any way you can. You found all the ways to do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go, folks. Thanks for listening, for watching. And until we can geek out again, I'm Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something. Goodbye, everybody.